Today, my beautiful viewers, we're going to be talking about a game in early access. I know, early access is a spooky tag, but trust me, I would never review an early access game unless it's good. Just kidding, I reviewed Borderlands 3. Gunfire Reborn is a first-person roguelite shooter in which you play as a hero with unique abilities and go through randomly generated stages, either alone or with up to 3 friends, grabbing all sorts of weapons, scrolls and ascensions to turn yourself into a powerhouse, strong enough to last 1 minute without saying goodbye. Nice. If you die, you lose everything and have to begin again. Might sound a bit boring on the surface, but
don't judge the cover, judge the book.
I'ma try my best to explain why this game is going into my spank bank of 2020 with something I call the 3 fundamental pillars. Gunfire Reborn offers one of the best gunplays I have ever experienced, and it's primarily thanks to the very unique and diverse arsenal. You have cool spins on weapons like a living dragon that acts as a flamethrower or a lizard that pukes out grenades. Kinda weird, but you slap the lizard to reload it, which is very cool. The interesting spin is also applied to more traditional weapons as well. Assault rifles, snipers and the likes all have some charm to them, be it their appearance or performance. These weapons are unlocked through simple progression challenges, like subscribe to Serjuh. Once the challenge is complete, you can pick up the weapon then and there to experiment with it, which is a wonderful way of introducing you to the weapons in this game. Each weapon has some intrinsic factor that sets it apart from the rest, be it an alternative fire mode that's borderline aimbot, an alternative fire mode that makes fish gun cool, or just the comfort of rolling with prefixed elemental damage, with each element being effective against different types of health bars. Fire for flesh, shock for shield, corrosive for armor. Now let's take it a step further. Just like a method trying to cook up the next dose, you can mix elements together to create an entirely new effect, like manipulation, which turns enemies against each other.
What is this nigga doing now?
Weapons also roll with different perks or inscriptions as the game calls them, which can make weapons you're familiar with feel fresh each time. Usually you might avoid the golden bow because you want to use corrosive weapons, and then suddenly boom, a corrosive golden bow. This gives incentive to check every weapon that drops, because you never know what special role it might have. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, bratucha. Weapons are fundamental to a successful run and fun experience, and there is something that amplifies both those aspects greatly, that being scrolls. Throughout your runs you can acquire scrolls by completing progression challenges similar to the weapon ones, random stage related challenges, and by purchasing them from a trader who looks an awful lot like Kermit.
Fuck you.
There are scrolls that just increase basic elements like speed, survivability, and ammo gain. And there are scrolls that can fundamentally change your playstyle, like shooting reserve ammo rather than what's in the magazine, which greatly synergizes with a weapon like Demon Lore that increases damage for each crit hit until reloaded, being that you have the scroll you never reload. In other words, Demon Lore go. There you go. This is just one example of the countless synergies there are between weapons and scrolls. The third player in this love triangle is Ascensions. At the end of each stage, and rarely from an elite mob, you get a goblet that lets you pick one of 3 hero-specific upgrades from different paths that enhance your hero's abilities. Dr. Meow Meow has a freezing orb as his primary ability and a small grenade as his secondary. His ascension paths focus on elemental prowess, small grenade utility, and orb buffs that increase survivability and crowd control. The dog has explosive grenades and he can dual wield. He is basically Salvador from Borderlands 2, and his ascension paths focus on survivability, insane explosive damage, and just massive damage overall. With all that being said, hopefully you can see the replay value this game offers. Each run is a clean slate in which you forge yourself anew, attempting to create a powerful build with the resources you get, be they something you wanted or not. Sometimes you'll clap furry cheeks, others you'll get steamrolled by a boss or even basic enemies. At the end of each game, you can permanently level up passive skills using Soul Essence, a currency earned through killing mobs. There are 3 primary skill trees with each covering different aspects of the game. The Expedition skill tree opens up more world-based features, like the ability to bust these cracks that randomly spawn in stages. There's 4 types of rooms that can be found behind these portals. The enemy room, which is a simple in and out that rewards you with a scroll chest at the end. The advanced enemy room, which is almost identical to the prior mentioned room, except here, after killing all the enemies, you have to kill an elite variant, which has a chance of dropping a goblet, scroll, or weapon. The green chest at the end of these also give you the option to choose one of 3 scrolls, rather than just giving you one. The trap room, which is full of your most beloved thing in the world, big balls. These ones are fairly simple. Avoid the balls and get to the chest. There's usually 2 of them, one by the end portal and one not too far away. And lastly, my favorite one, the platforming room. This one is a nice break from the mold. All you have to do here is platform your way to the chest, which is really trivial. If you're looking for a heftier reward, there's always an alternative path you can take, with more trivial platforming on a time limit, that will lead you to a green chest and the basic end chest. A lot of people seem to be throwing tantrums about these for some reason.
People who can't press space be like.
The boys and I enjoy these way more than the other rooms. Devs, please don't change them. And make more. Spasiba. This skill tree also opens up the possibility to get 2 types of inscriptions on weapons. Gemini inscriptions are a synergy based thing that only work if you have the same inscription on both weapons. These start popping up later in the game and can always be rerolled at the smithy, assuming you have the money. The exclusive inscription is one that can go anywhere from giving you increased elemental damage to straight up giving you an aimbot. A very important skill in my opinion. The rest of the skill tree focuses on copper gain, soul essence gain, and soul essence management. The survival skill tree, as you might have guessed, focuses on survival. The battle skill tree focuses on making you stronger by default. Nothing really special about this tree, except arm support, a skill that allows you to interact with the green chest at the start of each game, which will let you grab one of 3 random weapons to start your journey with. Currently, the game offers 3 entirely different maps consisting of a few stages. The first map is a dark and tight Forgotten Palace-like setting, in which you fight a diverse variety of stone-like enemies. It starts out fairly simple, with generic shooty shoot and rushy rush enemies, but it steadily progresses towards tall boys with tracking projectiles and bipedal horses with shields. This map comes to an end with a boss fight against Dwarf. All you have to do is time your dashes to avoid his stone throws and deal damage. Once he is dead, you can yoink all the loot and move on to the next map. The Anxi Desert offers a much brighter experience in terms of settings, but a darker one in terms of enemies. Here you'll encounter lizards that throw AoE balls at you, big chunguses that try to burn you down, snipers that vanish after shooting you,
Yeah, look guys, look, hey, disconnected,
and a variety of other enemies that add a whole lot of flavor to the game. This map comes to an intense conclusion with a fight against a boss named
Ichthyosaurus offspring.
a massive shrimp that, well, you'll find out. The last map currently takes place in a coastal village, town, or whatever, and is where you'll encounter the hardest hitting enemies in the game. I won't spoil too much, but there is an enemy that is very much like Roadhog from Overwatch, who pulls you in for a deadly hug. Now, just like pretty much everything, this game is best enjoyed in co-op, both because you're spending time with the boys, and because of how the game works. All the loot that drops for you is only seen to you, so nothing can be yoinked under your schnoz. But if your friend has something you need, or you have something they need, you can drop it and it will be seen to everyone, which is such a fantastic way of allowing you to share loot without the risk of it being stolen. Overall, the game is extremely polished for a $12 or something project out of Hong Kong. The devs put a tremendous amount of love and work into this game. Each week there is an update that adds a bit of spice to the game, while also detailing what they're up to and what's to come next. The only thing the game really needs is increased difficulty. Because right now the hardest part is not getting through the game on normal or elite difficulty. Niet. The hardest part is
letting go.
You spend upwards of 20 minutes going through stages, creating a build, and sometimes you get everything going for you, scrolls, ascensions and weapons, all for it to be gone once you kill the last boss. This will more or less be resolved with New Game Plus, which the devs are working on, but till then, we sad. That's about it really. For a cheap price you get an extremely polished game with great gunplay, great replay value, and consistent updates. What more is there to ask for? On a scale of 1 to 10, my final rating for Gunfire Reborn is a out of 10. I hope you enjoyed the video. Slap like, slap wife, hit brr, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!